This is Case, and you're listening to The Tone. What is The Tone? An episodic podcast series where I interview your favorite people in music. This episode, we have Doug Nunnally of the Auricular, champion of Richmond music and founder of the Newlin Music Prize. Say hi, Claire.
Hey, Case.
Claire is the editor and producer of this Notterly production.
The Newlin Music Prize, it's named after Deacon Newlin. She was a legit child prodigy in the classical sense.
Legit, like 16 years old.
Yeah, 16 years old. She traveled the world and at, symphony halls and things like that. And then she just ended up landing in VCU, I think in the late 70s, became a professor there.
Yeah.
Up until like the mid 2000s when she died. Not only that, so she had the classical sense, she was a professor, so she could also, impart wisdom on the next generation. But then in her free time, she was an Elvis impersonator. She had a bunch of punk bands in town. There's crazy. Style Weekly had this article years back, and Randy Blythe, the singer from Lamb of God, talks about like walking in and seeing her like on stage at, I think it was Twisters back then, probably.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the Grace Street location was at that point, and he said it was like the most bizarre thing in a good way, like in a compelling way. I just think she runs the gamut of like musical expression, and I feel like there's a lot of people in town that are like that have a lot of their paid music stuff comes from like actual gigging at like stuff outside for like park displays, playing in the orchestra or like helping to compose or transpose things. But then at night, they change their outfit and they're in the most abrasive metal band you've ever heard in your life.
Right.
So I think, and she was that.
What is it? Apoca.
I don't know.
I can't.
It's Apocalypse with Cow in the middle.
Yeah. Apocalypse.
And their record is on Bandcamp, and it's very interesting to listen to. There's a documentary on her too that's not available online. We're trying to do something to get it maybe re-released.
Yeah, maybe like you could do something about that because you actually have the power to do something like that.
We've been trying.
I mean, play it at the Bird because it's incredible because this person back in the day, it seems as if a savant. It was more than one instrument. It was more than one character. In one of the articles you had listed on the site that she was called the Bag Lady of Richmond.
She would the Bag Lady, or sometimes they would call her the Cart Lady. Basically,
the Cart Lady,
from like between like teaching assignments, she would just be rolling a cart up with all of her belongings, all of her papers. Not like in like a homeless sense, but like I've got to get across this street. I got to get across town in the next 30 minutes to get to my next class, but I got to bring all this stuff with me. Might as well use a shopping cart.
Yeah.
She just, to me, she embodies that, like, I think a lot of people, when they think about music, they don't think about boxes. They just go from one side or the other. I think she very clearly thought about boxes, but just was like, I'm just going to step out of this box and step into this one. And then I'm going to step into this one over there. And I'm going to do all these things because expression is what music is to me. It's not about like understanding. That's the other thing too, is like she clearly understands the technical nuance of music, but she doesn't care enough about it in every aspect. If she wants to just go and everything is out of tune, that's good for her.
It didn't matter genre-wise what it was, but musicianship doesn't need to stick in genres.
No.
And honestly, genres are kind of difficult to even work within, and the only reason we probably have them is for the industry.
Yeah.
And if we stopped thinking about them so much, we would have mixed bills.
I think they do. I think they do matter. I mean, like calling like your band Glossing, calling it like shoegaze adjacent, I think definitely helps.
It does help because like if someone wants to be informed about what they're trying to listen to, or whatever, you need to have some type of basis to ground them and be like, okay, this is where the roots are.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And that's, I think, what people need to realize is that like use those for like jumping off points, not for like they do this.
Yeah.
Because they're not always going to do this.
So genre isn't an accuracy thing.
No, it should be a mile marker, a guidepost.
I like to think of it as like a descriptor. Like Newlin didn't have barriers. No. There was nothing that stopped. And I want to say, I just bring it up because it reminded me of it in the moment was Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
These people that just have like a bunch of interests and are not necessarily interested in what you think of them.
Yes.
They just want to do what they want to do. And the other thing too about Deacon Newlin, I think she came to the town And the late 70s was really when like the Richmond music scene like started to have like an actual foundation. And she probably heard about it and was like curious and went to a show. But being classically trained, classically inclined, she wasn't off-put, she wasn't disgusted, she was captivated.
Yeah.
And because of being captivated, she ended up doing her own thing.
This might have been a characteristic within her, like in her genetics, because it seems as if someone who's that young, who graduates college that young, who decides, okay, I'm going to go get mentored. I'm going to do this. That's an intentional person. That's a different person.
Yeah.
That's a person who they're made to do that. So it's very cool that she was able to influence so many people, set up so many people for success.
Yeah.
And that you have so many people on this list of judges that are there in support of this incredible prize that you're going to be able to give an artist $1,000.
Well, actually, this year, so this will be our third year, that prize money is going up.
What?
So it's going to be $2,500 for the winner, but then the other 19 entries on the short list will each get $250 each. Because that was my only, since I started this award.
It was probably hard to just be like, one.
Yeah, well, that's my thing. I never wanted it to be about the winner. Yeah, there's going to be a winner, because if there's not, it's going to lose kind of like a prestige, like, oh, these are just your 20 best records of the year. No, there's like an actual process of like a formula, or not formula, but there's a process to this to give an award some prestige. But that doesn't mean you should ignore all the 19 that didn't win it. In fact, some of those 19, I think, like personally, somebody might have voted for somebody else. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I want to give everybody the same kind of recognition. So hopefully giving them like some form of monetary compensation will help that too.
Sure.
So then they can understand like, oh, it's not just about, because this year I think the jury's like 101 or 102 people.
Oh, really?
It's not
That's
just
a lot of people.
There's no like set number. It's more just about like finding like a good.
And people just email you if they want.
Or I email them. It's more like I meet somebody. I'm like, hey, they've got a really interesting way of thinking about music. They come from a different background than everybody else. Like on the jury.
Right.
I need to ask if they're interested in doing it. That way, it's always kind of a free forming, like free evolving type of thing, and it's never stuck in a box.
It's people who have some type of like experience in the industry.
Yeah, it's people like me who are journalists, but also there's a lot of musicians on it. There's some radio DJs. There's
it's a big honor.
Yeah, some show promoters.
That's a lot of people who work in the industry who are saying like, you're doing good.
Yeah,
you're doing good.
yeah, like last year for 2023 award, there were 250 albums nominated. Nominations are due tonight. I think we're on track to maybe hit 300, maybe 325.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's a lot, and a lot of people take a lot of time into crafting their nominations, but then also crafting their actual ballot towards the end of like, these are the records I actually are going to vote for this award. And I do want the prestige to be there, because if there can be a prestigious award, then hopefully that will uplift everybody who's nominated for it, and then the next time they play, the bands underneath them on that bill will have some more attention to it, and it's just a snowball effect. Popping everything up is the way to do it.
Yeah. Bringing like an eye to the situation. Like, here's the thing: we enjoy these people's music all the time. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, if you're enjoying the music, it's doing a lot for you.
Yeah.
And that crafting and that work and that intention, energy, or whatever the person is putting into that thing, it affects you. So being able to like take a second to honor it is amazing. But being able to say, hey, do it again.
Yeah.
Here's some money.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
Here's
is like,
some money.
Here's
because,
some
like,
money
we need
to
money.
like
Artists
to actually
need money.
here's some money so that you can keep making good music.
We want
to
hear it.
Yeah, we want you to keep going. Don't just stop on this one record. Don't rest on your laurels. Keep going.
It's so easy to stop when you don't have money.
No, it is, and I mean that's just the biggest. I mean, COVID proved that. It's just the biggest hurdle for people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of people kept writing music during COVID, but a lot of them didn't record if they didn't already have it set up.
Right.
Because how are you going to pay for that?
You can't do that when you're stuck inside. You don't have funds for, the type of recording equipment that you need.
Yeah.
But you saw the bedroom pop albums that came out.
Yeah.
What is it? Bedroom pop albums?
Yeah, they're bedroom
Sorry,
pop.
I was like, am I saying it right?
Sometimes they can be called Dream House if they're a lot more hazy or whatnot.
That became really popular because people would just use their iPhone mic and stuff like that. And so, I also say don't let gear limit you in any way, but at the same time, the limit is in your mind, because if you think you can't do the technical stuff, then you won't.
Yeah.
And that's just true. You know, there's so many people who say, I didn't touch Ableton for years and now I'm doing it. And I'm like, why didn't I do this earlier?
Yeah,
it's
really
like,
hard.
allow yourself that, like, okay, you can try it out. But if it's not for you, continue your process and, like, you know, make money, save some. That's why producers exist, you know? But also the idea that, like, these albums are getting circulated, what it does, it brings more attention to also the producers, the people who worked on it, the art.
I think so too. Yeah, I list the producers, I list the labels.
How important is all of that in the process of making decisions for people? I guess individually, all these nominations are...
There's no formal process. Literally, if you're in I think the official designation is Richmond, Petersburg metropolitan area, so like Richmond, Petersburg, Henrico, Chesterfield, Hanover, anything from there has to be at least 5 songs or more than 25 minutes. Okay. That way, you can get people.
That's fair.
Yeah, that way you can get like hardcore punks who have like 2-minute songs, but they only put out like 5 songs on a record, vice versa. You have like a post-rock band that has just 2 songs on an album, but each song is 14-minute song.
Right.
So those would qualify, and then released in the past calendar year. That's it. Other than that, I don't give anybody any direction whatsoever about how to nominate or how to vote. And people ask me every year, well, how should I be like analyzing these 20 records now that you have the list? How should I like submit a ballot to you? It's like, it's the 10, like vote on the ones that you think are the best.
Yeah.
Not like what you think any type of metric is. What ones resonate with you the most? If you think like, well, I'm not necessarily like over the moon about this one, but I think it's trying something really, really new, and then you want to rank it a little bit higher, do it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's about your opinion. And that's the point of like
trust yourself. So these people that are doing the nomination reviews are a panel, basically, that are just taking your albums that you've given, the 20 albums, and they're reviewing them systematically by their own preferences, by their own, and there's so many of them that it really does even out in the end. And winning doesn't even really seem like a thing. Like, yeah, winning the money would be great, but just being able to be nominated for this thing is quite prestigious at this point.
That's what I would hope.
Yeah.
And I think it would. I would hope that it would lead to just more aware. Like the first year that we did it, there was somebody who made the short list who didn't even have social media.
Okay, yeah.
They were just like a bunch of people knew about her record. Her name's Caro. She was a bedroom pop artist.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she records herself. If she doesn't, then whoever she does record with does a really good job.
The mastering, whatever, yeah.
But she created social media because she got nominated. She was able to kind of to get something going because of that, which is, I guess, the goal is just to really just expose people, but also expose people to different things too. So there's going to be a couple metal or hardcore punk records on a list, but then there's also going to be a lot of rap records too. The first year there was a rapper. Illa Styles, who I think the world of, and then like a sludge rock, like a doom rock band called Book of Worms.
I love Book of
Worms.
And
they were on the first year, so in 2022, and then this year, they just ended up releasing like a collaborative remix of one of the songs on that record. Book of Worms and Illa Styles, they came together to do like a remix, like a hip hop like freestyle over like a doom rock song.
What?
Because they got hooked, because they found each other, because they were both on the first year's Newlin shortlist. That's the kind of stuff that I would want to happen.
One of your goals is you really hope that collaboration happens after.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned Ty. Like, Ty is in Glossing. Ty is in Kristeva. Ty also plays, I think, bass for Anna Leonard, who I'm over the moon about. She's one of the best.
Whenever they do like a full set,
Yeah, and so like that type of style jumping. I won't say genre, but just style jumping, going from like post-rock heaviness to singer-songwriter supporting
you
role.
don't even know what's coming for Ty.
Oh,
I can't wait to tell you.
But see, I
can't wait to tell you.
That's what I want. I want those sharp left turns as an artist gives, or I want something where the next record sounds maybe the same, but they pulled in a bunch of different voices to maybe produce or to just assist with songwriting, and it sounds so much more refined and so much more nuanced.
What you're looking at is well-rounded, refined artists who know their craft, who understand what their sound is, and that means what you're looking for is an intention in an album.
Yeah.
And so you're just taking these albums and people are voting on them, and it's giving an opportunity not only for a platform, but like exposure, collaboration. It's literally everything that is right in the world is what is happening with this
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, the goal is to just make a better music scene in Richmond and for like a very base reason, for a selfish reason, just so there's more good music that comes out.
Right, and I'm here wanting to talk about it because I think that it is really important. And of course, the goal is always going to be moving towards more connection, more empowering, and more opportunities.
Yeah.
Because really, if we're being honest, I don't think we don't say it. Money is the issue most of the time for musicians. They're working other jobs, but really what they want to do is just pour themselves into their music, pour themselves into their craft, and have time to rest and space and, be able to create. And it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
Giving an opportunity, $250 will master your album. Right?
Perfect.
It will. It will master your album. So you just allowed all those artists to master their next album.
Well, that's perfect. That's what I would want. I mean, the first year winner, McKinley Dixon, I'm 90%. He won $1,000. I'm 90% sure that he sunk all that $1,000 into his next record, which came out last year, Blood Paradise Jazz, and people went over the moon about that one. And I'm like, that's what I would want. I would want to see that that jump of obviously we recognize it as that the previous record as this great thing, but surpass it, go further, go harder.